John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, over here at the Kimalan Village. The address is 7701 Harbor, Detroit, Michigan 48213. Phone number is 313 921 1616. That's 313 921 1616. Where people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We believe in one brick, one building, one block at a time, and building up one another. And as usual, the reason they call me the businessman with a conscience, because I do a lot of thinking and I try to think a lot myself as well as what they say, practice what you preach. A lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And a lot of people say do as I say do, not what I do. But I don't have a problem with telling people to treat me the way I treat you or treat me the way you want me to treat you. And I believe if we did that, we wouldn't go too far wrong, because if you treat people the way that you want to be treated yourself, the chances are you're going to treat them pretty good, because you want people to treat you pretty good. And I'm always talking about business. I'm always talking about collaborating. And last week I talked a little bit about entrepreneurs and building a business and how to go about building a business as well as your credit. But as well, I often, I talks about belief, and people. A lot of times, people don't trust people, and a lot of times you don't believe in yourself. But I believe, you have to start somewhere, and a good place to start is with your own self. Start believing that you can do anything. Have the faith in your own self, and then build from that and begin to have faith in others. We get to the point where we don't want to trust people. And unfortunately, people have put us in that predicament because they find themselves doing things to you. You've been hurt so much, you don't want to take a chance on doing things and being hurt again. And no one wants to be hurt. And I don't really believe people hurt people on purpose. It's just that they have such a defense about themselves, but they're so busy defending and think everybody have a motive. But there's genuine people that want to help you. And I believe in, like I often say, each one reach one, each one teach one. And I believe that the more people we help, the more people can be helped. Because once, like I talked about the crab syndrome, where instead of pulling the crab down, push him over the barrel. And hopefully once he get over that hump and he turn around and begin to reach back. But the same thing in building businesses. Once you begin to get a little stronger yourself, if you can't really do anything or support financially, at least mentally or physically sometimes, you know, if there's no more than offering advice. You can tell people what, from some of the experiences that you have had yourself, that, if you do this here, these are the outcomes, and this is what happened. It's like a domino effect. Once you stack them dominoes up in line and you flip one, the chances are each one of them is connected to the other one. So as one flips, the other one flips. And you get pretty much that same result, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And by saying that, that domino effect can also be good, bad, or different, because if you begin to lash out and you hurt people instead of helping them, that person can have the same attitude that you had, and they reach out and hurt someone. Then the next one hurts someone, and then you just have a vicious circle of people hurting one another. So we want to try to get out of that mode, stop trying to hurt one another, and try to help to build one another. Sometimes you say, well, why should I do that? Well, somebody have to start somewhere. So if you start, and we don't know who started at what time, but if all of us just do what we need to do what we could do to help others, do what we could do to support one another, and having the faith in your own self, believe that you can do anything but fail. You can accomplish anything. My father would always say, if you don't ever try it, how do you know you can do it or not? So put forth an effort to try to do something. You know, saying I can't do this, I can't get it. Just like you can say, I can't do it, you can say I can do it. And instead of not putting forth an effort, you can put forth an effort to try to do something, to try to help someone. Even when you're practicing loving on one another. You know, I often talk about loving. You know, some people scared to love because they've been hurt so many times. Well, everybody is not going to hurt you. Everybody is not out to hurt you. Sometimes we have to put our guards down. You could be careful. You could be cautious. And just be aware and pay attention of what you do. And don't go all in at one time. You know, take one step at a time. How do you eat an apple? One bite at a time. You don't just throw an apple in your mouth and start chewing, unless you got that big of a mouth, which I doubt. So one bite at a time. So you take your time with people. You begin to trust in them. You kind of build your trust in them. What they say, give them an inch. Some people say you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Or, you heard that before. But give them that inch. Let them show you. And once a person show you who they are, believe them. That's who they are. And then you move on, but you don't give up because one person did something to you. For every one person that have hurt you, there have been 10 others that will help you. But if you don't believe and begin to trust and let somebody show you what they can do for you, and most of the time you'd be surprised the people that will help you. We used to talk about when we was coming up as kids, my father would say, when we would go out selling candy and doing different things, people say, well, I can't do that. I can't sell candy. Every time I ask somebody to buy a candy bar or something of that sort, they would turn me down. Where if this one turned you down, ask another one. And if that one turned you down, ask another. Sooner or later, somebody will make a purchase. Someone will break that chain and will do something for you. But if you give up, you can't go no further than you allow yourself to go. So just keep on. Like I say, keep pushing. The mindset is don't ever give up. Keep trying. Push forward. Push until something happens one way or the other. And, learn how to trust people, believe in them, and, have faith in your own self. And, over here, we often, I was talking to a friend of mine today. He had a bookstore back in the day, and he wished that someone would have helped him. And I wish that at that particular time that I would have been around myself, that perhaps if I couldn't help him, at least I could have supported him. So a lot of times, if we can't help put people in business, at least we can help to support them. You may not be able to give out a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, but you can help fold up or go support. And, if it's a sandwich shop, you can go in there every now and then and buy a sandwich. Every time I find out that there's a business done open up and they tell me about it, especially if it's owned by our people, because we have a struggle already. It's hard enough to go in business because for whatever the reason, I don't understand, we don't get the same kind of support as others. And then when we do get some kind of support, sometimes we are not the business person themselves, but we as a people, we find ourselves, we want to find out everything wrong with what the person is doing. when I feel like I often go back to when I first went into business myself. I didn't have a whole lot, but I worked with what I had to work with. And like I said, I didn't have a whole lot. So I would put a few candy bars here, a few candy bars there. And quite often, my sisters and brothers would come in, not biological sisters and brothers, but our Black families, would come in and people would look around and they would see that I didn't have a whole lot, but instead of them trying to help and support me, and hopefully one day that I would become strong enough and get enough where I can become a little bit better and have more, they would always talk about me. They would mention stuff like, you don't have it, you don't even have it in here. They look like, to me, I felt as if sometimes when they come in, they would look to see what I didn't have, and that's what they would ask for. And it looked like they would come in faithfully every day, and I was right there faithfully with what I had, still trying to have something, still trying to build. I may not have had what they wanted yesterday, but when they come in tomorrow, I had what they wanted yesterday. And then look like they're looking, they see that there, and then okay. Then look like they look to see something else that I didn't have, and then they would ask for that. And when they would ask for it, and I don't have it right now, but as you can see, just let me know what you want. If I don't have it, I'll get it for you. And they laugh. They, hey, let's go to a real store. It did make me feel good. Sometimes I felt like I wanted to crawl up on a rock, but I didn't give up. I kept hope alive. I kept pushing. And I built, and I built, and I built. And what people say I didn't have, eventually it came to pass that when they came to the store, they, wow, God, the man. And others would ask for something, and they saw that I didn't have it. They would tear it up. Just ask for it. Just tell them what you want. He'll get it for you. I began to build a reputation. Like on last week, I mentioned about being a person of your word. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And I began to ask people to write their questions down. If I didn't have it, I focus on the next time they came, I was going to make it my business to have it because I was trying to build something. And in building, we need each other. We don't need each other trying to tear one another down. I need you. You need me. We need each other. Not trying to tear each other down, like I said. Anybody can do that. Anybody can tear up something. Fast as you build it up, they say somebody else tear it down. People do stuff like that. But you can't give up. You got to keep hope alive and believe in yourself and believe in others. And remember, let's keep hope alive. Let's believe in one another. Let's support one another. And this is February, Black History Month. Let's support our sisters and brothers. And I just got a new order of African attire in as well. I have dashikis, I have the whole suits, I have the dresses, I have the hats, the kufis, shea butters. So let's support one another. Even if you don't support me, support some Black business. Thank you for listening. And remember, cooperation makes good business. This is John Bevery, the businessman with a conscience, over here at the Accumulon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we care. Thank you for listening.
John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.